it's been a really busy 3 weeks in Cumberland South, and have played host to three ministers actually, and a round of events. I think we're going to talk about some announcements.
Well, I want to talk about one of them, the special event yesterday with the Youth Initiative on mental health and so on. But I want to let that go toward the end because I'm still hoping that Minister Comer is going to join us tomorrow. Very hopeful of that to get the details right from the key fellow. But as you say, that you keep inviting these minister colleagues of yours not to just consider Cumberland South, but to actually physically come and visit with you. And boy, oh boy, is that ever paying dividends, even yesterday spilling over into Cumberland North, where we are grateful to you that you keep doing these kinds of things in the absence of representation in the North. So, tell us, you say 3 ministers in the last short while. Who'd you bring in?
Yeah, well, very quickly, we had the Minister of Community Culture, Tourism, and Heritage here a few weeks ago doing some visits with some groups, and also visiting with the UNESCO Geopark group and some other groups that received some grants this year, talking with other groups that are going to be applying for some grants next year. So that was a few weeks ago. So yeah, Minister Dave Ritchie from the Truro area, he spent a solid day with me about 3 weeks ago. It was a great opportunity. It's been a while since Dave has been in and around Cumberland County. He's no ghost to Cumberland County. Actually, for a short time, he was coach of the Amherst Ramblers, and very heavily involved with the junior A hockey circuit and hockey itself. So Dave is no ghost to Cumberland County. He's been here regularly. But yeah, we had a great visit for Minister LeBlanc. That's Colt LeBlanc. That's his third visit, I think, since 2022 that he's come to Cumberland County. But on Tuesday, he came as the Minister of Growth and Development, which is housing and also the old Economic Development Department. And it was great to host him to go see some businesses and some groups as well. But we had a very important announcement for affordable housing, and we hosted the community announcement at the community center in Spring Hill, where it's central to Cumberland County. But we announced some projects had already been underway. A couple of them were already finished, but the provincial portion of some affordable housing projects, 27 to be specific, in and around Cumberland County. 27 projects, $2.3 million to be invested. And that's affordable housing that's going out all over Cumberland County. And what I understand from the minister's comments on Tuesday, after I announced the funding for the minister, I understood from his comments that this may just be the start for Cumberland County. I know there's some other projects that are in the works for housing as well.
Well, we knew, of course, that there was a number of projects involved in Spring Hill itself, and one of them very keenly tied to the community college. But we haven't really heard the specifics of other areas. Can you give us a wee bit more detail about what kind of housing and where?
So yeah, no, there are specifics, Bill. I know some projects on Queen Street. One's already finished. I don't know the exact streets in Amherst where some of the projects have taken place. But these have to be classified as affordable housing. And I can speak a little bit about the one on Queen Street in Spring Hill. It wasn't just affordable housing. It's also an efficient building that'll meet the 2035 targets for a net zero building. There's just a few more installations that the contractor, Tom Mattinson, has to do. But look, it was a great announcement. We got to meet the person that is living at that facility, Queen Street. We got to meet with Tom and his contract team and some of the other developers that were there. But these are scattered in and around. The majority of them are in the town, it's the former town of Spring Hill, and in the town of Amherst. But as I said, I know the minister and myself are working on some other projects that are going to be scattered out even further into the rural areas, more rural areas of Cumberland County.
Now, we've known for a while, of course, through the Municipal Council, Cumberland Municipal Council, about some affordable housing projects that involve the prefab homes like they make at Crossroads in Pugwash, where the homes are built on site and then trucked to wherever it is they're going. And these tend to be, sometimes referred to as tiny homes, and indeed they do have those as well. But they've got some sophisticated layouts that can put together, for community housing, to be sure. And we were kind of led to believe there might be a few of those going on as well. Are they tied to this project in any way?
Not specific. That was another funding formula, and some of them are actually not funded by the province at all. Some of them are the developers themselves that are going out and putting some of these homes in Spring Hill, in Amherst, in the rural areas. I know Auction Frozen Foods has a great housing project plan. The minister also met with Auction Frozen Foods about their housing developments that they've done in and around Oxford area as well. And so it's not just government taking the initiative here. It's also private developers, companies themselves creating homes that they want people to come and work. They know people need to have affordable homes in the area. And it's been a great initiative. And there's other companies that I hear from in Nova Scotia that have actually taken Oxford's lead on that, Oxford Frozen Foods lead on that. And they're starting a similar plan in their area as well. You also mentioned the residency for NSCC. This had nothing to do with that that project. This announcement didn't. But just a quick update on that, Bill. As we know, it's going to be at the site of the former or soon-to-be former fire station in Spring Hill. Once the fire department moves into their new facility in Spring Hill, then the province will take occupancy of that building. There'll be a demolition take place, and I understand from the municipality that the new fire station is going to be up and running within 6 to 8 weeks.
What does that mean in terms of the next school year? Although I recognize, of course, community colleges have kind of flexible school years, if you will, but we always think about the return to school in September. Is there any likelihood that housing will be in place by this fall?
Absolutely not, Bill. To be very honest, the target was September of 2026. That may get pushed out a little bit just because of the land searches and deals and negotiations with that. I did meet with the project manager, going to say about 3 weeks ago. He personally is still trying to hold tight to that September 2026, but did put caution there that they're with equipment and getting the contracts all signed. It could be pushed out a little bit, but I'm gonna hold them to it and try to have that for September 2026.
Now, we're talking about housing, of course, and affordable housing in particular, during what everybody, it seems, worldwide almost, is calling a housing crisis. And one wonders about whether or not, in terms of public housing, if governments across the world have kind of folded up their tents and left the whole thing to private enterprise for so long that now we're having to fight this rearguard action to catch up again. And you mentioned 27 units. Talking with Mayor Rob Small of Amherst the other day about some bylaw changes that will allow for higher density residences, older big homes being converted into multiple units. Some 82 units have been approved in the town of Amherst. So, 82, 27, you keep plugging away at it, and you'll make a big dent if not solve the problem.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned public housing. Not one of these announcements on Tuesday will actually will belong to the province. These are from the developer side of things, so they'll be landlords. But some other projects that we are working on. I've mentioned Burgesboro different times. We're trying to finalize a deal on a piece of land between departments in Burgesboro. So there will be another announcement coming in due time once things like that do get finished up. And we do have the first public housing project that's been put in place in 3 decades. We announced that last year. We announced a 5-year housing plan development, and we're actually 125% on target with all of our set goals that were put in place with that review. So there's a lot of work that's going on, and the fact of the matter is there is a housing crunch all over the province. And the fact of the matter is, in order to combat that, you need more building starts. And I can tell you, Cumberland County is certainly leading the pack on that, and small, but also the Cumberland and the town of Oxford have really been good partners to deal with and allowing when bylaws need to be changed to have some housing development, but also their building and planning departments, the building inspectors and such. It's been top notch, and we've really seen things change here in Cumberland County.
Now, yesterday you were with the Minister Comer in Amherst for the announcement of the opening of the Anchor Youth facility, a major initiative in serving youth needs specifically. And I'm hoping he'll be with us tomorrow to talk about the detail of the how and why. But you were with him, of course. That's the nature of the beast when you have these grand opening things for you to take part, certainly. You had thought by moving your interview time from 11 to 11:43 that we would get a chance to talk to you. But in the course of it, you sent me a text just before 11:43 advising that you were still involved in that announcement. And you made a notation in your text saying, this has been emotional. And I wanted to address that with you. What did you mean by that? Where was the emotion? In you, in the minister, in the people participating? What?
Well, this is the first of its kind that we've announced in Nova Scotia. This is one of 6 or 7 that are going to be popping up all over the province. Integrated youth services. But when we actually had a youth take part in the emceeing and unveiling of the name Anchor Cumberland, and it's a place for youth that they can go and feel safe, develop relationships with peers sometimes, but also health advisors, mental health. This is a place, a safe place for people to come. And why I said it was emotional, the people that have been involved with this, the minister's team, but the YMCA, the Maggie's Place, there's so many. I'm going to stop naming them because there were so many partners at the table to develop this in Amherst. And usually Cumberland County is not the first on the list to get announcements like this. But this team all over Cumberland County really came together, and the facility it's second to none, Bill. When I got a tour of what can be offered there, dietitian services, mental health services. There's a sensory room in there where people can go and just de-stress. But it was also designed with the youth thoughts of what the building should look like and the room should look like. But to hear the speakers from the different groups that were taking part yesterday, that's what they had looked like, what the youth had thoughts and what they can incorporate into the building. And to see their reaction yesterday as they were seeing some of them for the first time, to see the reaction of the people that were involved in the project, it was second to none. And to say that there were a few tears shed yesterday on the beautification of this building and the opportunity to grow this and extend services from this hub for the youth all over Cumberland County. I only see that this project is going to grow and extend into every community in Cumberland County.
Now, you've given us a little description of the services being provided and the nature of the cooperative effort that was put together to make it happen. You mentioned the YMCA have been kind of coordinators of this, along with a whole host of not-for-profit associations and community service organizations already at work with different parts of society in Amherst on behalf of the county. And at first blush, it sounded like a community youth center. And back in my day, way back, that would have been a common event to put up a community center for youth. This is not to be confused with a community center. We're not playing ping pong and shuffleboard. This is providing actual hard and real social services, mental health services, addiction services, but specifically for youth.
Exactly, Bill. But I'll stop you about the ping pong. There is an area for that social engagement as well for the youth.
I just meant it's not the center of attention.
and that's exactly where it was going to go, Bill. And I know you're trying to get the minister on tomorrow. And Minister Comer, previous to politics, was a mental health nurse, and that's what really drove Minister Comer to run in politics, to try and make a change provincially. And Minister Comer, even yesterday, was really emotional. I don't think the big fella shed a tear, but I've known Minister Comer for about 6 years now, and you could tell he was excited about the announcement. But getting to go through it and just see the happiness and the reaction on people's faces, it was a joy to watch this big fella. And if you ever met Minister Comer, he's 6 foot something and solid as a brick wall, and to see him show a lot of emotion and excitement about this facility, and even exaggerating in the last 2 weeks for me in conversations. This is the first announcement of I believe 6 or 7 that are going to shoot the province, But I know you're trying to talk to Minister Comer tomorrow about it. I would not do it justice of what everything that this facility can offer. But it's more than just those four walls. It's about extending that out throughout the community as well. And I know there was a youth there from my hometown, and I had after the fact yesterday, and they said to me, "Do you realize that this isn't just going to impact the people in and around Amherst? This is going to impact everybody in our county, Tory."
Yeah, I'm glad you said that about the minister, because he's such a humble guy. We can't talk to him about his personal drive on this portfolio. But you're absolutely right. There was no Department of Mental Health Services prior to him coming on board with your party and becoming an elected official. And you said once before about how he urged you and the Premier and the Cabinet and the whole caucus a number of times on different initiatives that he felt were very, very important in the total scheme of healthcare delivery. And it was based on his experience, his personal experience in the mental health care system, which was so sadly lacking in so many ways. And with each and every new initiative in mental health and addiction services, we see his fingerprints all over it. And it is personal to him, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is, Bill, and I know we're cutting close on time, but I want to highlight one of the comments that he said yesterday at the announcement. And I don't know whether he recognized that he said it or not, because Minister Comer, Brian, did not stay on script yesterday. He spoke from the heart yesterday. But he made a statement that we have done so much in 4 years as a government, but yet he feels there's so much more to be done. And he said he'd stay committed to doing that for each and every Nova Scotian. And I sort of took a lot of pride in my colleague yesterday. He stood up there, spoke from the heart. He speaks from knowledge of the issue at hand, but spoke with a lot of pride with the achievements that were completed yesterday, and a lot of pride. He didn't take the credit. He put the pride where it belonged, and that was the groups and the volunteers and the youth specifically that helped come to make that dream reality yesterday with that facility.
Now, as you pointed out, you've got about 10 seconds left of normal time. We tend to go into overtime anyway all the time. But just the last opportunity, if there's something else you wanted to address specifically in Cumberland South.
Yeah, well, no, Cumberland as a whole, Minister LeBlanc, while he was here, and I had a chance to be at the Cumberland Business Connector. They hosted all the RENS committees from all over the province at Fox Harbour this week. So we were pleased to be there with RENS, but I always try to finish off with an event that's taking place this week on the weekend. This weekend, I'm going to be attending the Church Mouse Players Dinner Theater once again. They usually do a spring and a fall play, and this year my youngest son is actually in the play. So this weekend, I'm going to be taking in the dinner theater at the Church Players at the Oxford Legion. I know there's still some tickets available, so reach out to the Parkview and see if there's a ticket available for tonight, Friday night, or Saturday evening.